We did it again, we the hottest around. Took an old shoe and turned it into a crown. Fresh in and ever, we never bringing you trash. And every time we do work, we at the head of our class. You know the name. So long souls. So long souls.
Yo, what's cracking with y'all, man? Yeah, I got my AirPods Max. Got my joints on, man. I don't feel like taking them off because I'm gonna be doing some work. But anyway, we're gonna turn these Colombias into the Breds. So the first thing we're gonna do is unyellow the bottom. You know, they're not bad at all. This is what they're supposed to look like. This blue, but you got this almost green color. So instead of just dying over that and having that difference of color, I'm gonna unyellow these for a couple days and get them to the right color so that red can lay down just, wow. All right, so let's do that. I use an indoor setup. We're gonna put Salon Care 40. I've got several videos on how to do it. Just scroll back through, but I'm using my indoor setup, Salon Care 40 underneath there. I'm gonna probably do it for 2 or 3 days just to make sure that it's just right, and we'll get to the next step. All right, so I did the dye off camera. They came out sweet. Look at that, man. Woo. Woo. Nice and even. Boom. All right, so if y'all want to know what I use to get that red, it doesn't look like the red, but this is what it is. It's Angelus red leather dye, and you want to add Salon Care 40 to it. I put mine in this thing right here, but it's Salon Care 40. You can use Soul Bright. You can use any type of ice cream, anything that unyellows souls, you can use that. So you mix 1-to-1 ratio. So if you fill it up to here with the sauce, fill it up to there with the dye. So, and then you just paint it. My biggest thing that I would say is use a small paintbrush. Hit your edges first. So I used, where is it at? I used something like this to paint around. I use a brush about this big to paint around the edges first. And what I mean around the edges, I mean like this. So you take this brush and you just paint, you know, you hit the dye around the edges. That's it. So you don't have to get close to it again. And then, because guys, if it gets on this, it's over. It's a wrap. If that dye gets on there, you might as well refund their money and let them know, hey, I messed up or something, because you ain't gonna be able to get it off. But if you get a little speckle, like if you know, I got a little speckle on one of these spots, you can get something like that off. But if it bleeds onto that, it's over. You might as well tell them to do a different custom. And then for the rest of the shoe, I use the paintbrush like this. All right, so what we're gonna do next, I'm gonna tackle this patent leather. Sand your areas where it creases. You wanna sand that down so your paint has something to stick to. And then we're gonna use adhesion promoter. Spray this on there right before you paint, and so it'll have something to stick to. This is an optional step. You don't have to do this, but I always do it. All right, guys, so I painted the patent leather. As you can see, I'm dyeing up here. Up here, I'm dyeing the shoe, because if something happens, you know, if some paint comes off or whatever, you have that dye providing that second black, so you don't see the white. If something happens to the paint, it cracks, not cracks, because the paint ain't gonna crack, but if you chip it or something, then it goes to the black dye, so it's adding an extra layer. You can't dye the patent leather where I would have done it there. So I use this Createx Bloodline Flexible Adhesion Promoter. It is just how the name reads. Adhesion, something to stick to. And I use this adhesion promoter. So I'm doing double just to make sure everything is on there. Again, those are optional steps. You don't have to do that. So I'm gonna dye this, and I'm gonna, am I gonna dye this? I may dye that, but you don't have to. Again, you don't have to. You can just use water and the paint, or you can use like Too Soft and the paint, or GAC 900 and the paint, you know. But it doesn't really matter how you do it. I've done it all different kind of ways, and believe me, it all sticks, it all works. So I finally finished them. Boom, there we go. Patent leather shining. And I purposely didn't paint the carbon fiber on one of them just to make sure y'all knew I didn't try to switch out the shoes. There we go. These are the same kicks. Got some black paint on my hand, but I wanted to really touch on some things really quick. To get the glossy finish on your patent leather, what I used was the Angelus High Gloss. Don't airbrush it. Paint it on, or put it on a brush. That's what I found works good. And then I used the flat finish from Liquid Kicks Official. The flat finish is this up here. And that way it makes that stand out, the glossiness stand out. What else was I gonna share with y'all? Oh yeah, make sure you peel these things back where the laces are and paint underneath there. A lot of times people miss that and it looks real unprofessional. But that's how you do it. From Columbia's to Breds. If y'all want me to take care of y'all shoes, make customs, anything, hit me up on Instagram. Soul on Souls, link in the bio.
We did it again, we the hottest around. Took an old shoe and turned it into a crown. Fresh in and ever, we never bringing you trash. And every time we do work, we at the head of our class. You know the name. Soul on Souls. Soul on Souls.